basically, this is a bit of helpful advice. I know we're in London and parking's a nightmare here. There's a thing called a subject access request. It's part of the Data Protection Act 1998. I do fuck all in the days. What it is, you can request any and all information that a company or an institution has on you, and it's such a fabulous waste of their time, because no one's real dream when they were growing up, when I grow up I want to be a parking prick. Like, nobody wanted that themselves. These people just want to coast through life. They don't want any extra admin. If you give them some, they hate it. They normally go away. This is an ongoing one, which isn't a parking fine, actually. This is... I was driving in the wrong lane, and they gave me a fine for that. I know, bloody squares. It killed like 3 people. Now, I'm not sure what I can say legally as to where this is, so what I'll do is I'll do a version for the DVD. This was in London, and a real version, this was Lambeth fucking Council. I did a subject access request to them. They didn't reply within 30 days, so they're breaking the law, and as you know, I love the law. So I sent them an email that included this sentence, just to give you an idea of the tone of the things I write. Might I add that if I fail to observe your deadlines, you have the power to hand out additional fines, whereas I have only diminished powers, such as sending emails like this and just generally making myself a slight nuisance. However, I will be judged merely by your human laws, whereas you will be judged at the gates of hell! An idea of the tone of the things I write, okay? So now, this one... This was up north. I got a parking fine up north. I panic park, you see. I get to shows late and I just leave the car wherever's near. M42, that'll be fine, just leave that there. So this one, I got up north. So yes, I did a subject access request. Got an email from someone called Steph, who wrote, Mr. Lycett, I've passed your email onto the Freedom of Information team, as if they have a whole team for information. That means one person, and by that definition, I've had sex with a team of people. Hopefully, they'll be in touch with you soon. Steph. Now, I didn't like that word hopefully. I thought that was vague. Could mean next week, next year, could mean anything. So I went back to bloody Steph, didn't I? I said, Steph, sadly, hopefully, doth butter no parsnips. Which is an old Victorian phrase. Trying to bring back trending, basically. I know, hashtag butter parsnips. Come up with a hashtag in your own time. Can I have an email address for the person you've contacted at the FOI team? My lawyers would like to contact them directly. My lawyers do not exist. You have been very helpful, and hopefully you won't get caught up in the forthcoming. I thought it was vague enough as a threat. It could mean anything. Could just go and glass the woman, couldn't I? Just go and glass her. She replied, Mr. Lycett, I'm not sure what you mean about buttered parsnips. I have CC'd in the FOI team who will advise. Then I got an email from someone called Colin, who I imagine talks like this. Hello. Wanking as he wrote this email. Hello. Mr. Lycett, your request is very broad, and so I have assumed you only want information pertinent to your recent parking fine. Pertinent? Get in the fucking bin, Colin. I imagine that's the moment he jizzed. Pertinent! Just like so pleased with himself. Attached is the evidence we have, which is a photograph of your car clearly parked in a taxi rank. Here is that photograph. There it is. Very blurry for a start. It was like this weird chalky thing that had been written on the side window. Not good enough evidence, that isn't. There's no evidence of an actual taxi rank there. Wouldn't stand up in court, and I would take it that far. I do nothing in the days. So I went back to bloody Colin, didn't I? Said, Colin! When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Is prickish enough for a kick-off? I see that your evidence is nothing more than a picture of the words taxi rank written on my car. I would argue this evidence is insufficient. I also put P.S. Apologies for the delay in replying to your previous email. I'm currently on the Costa del Sol. I provided evidence of this. Just attach this picture. Did in my bed in Birmingham, didn't I? Colin replied, Mr. Lycett, in order to reverse the fine, you'll need to provide evidence your vehicle was not in a taxi rank. That's bullshit legally, but I went back to him anyway. I said, Colin, evidence supplied. I was actually parked on the moon, as you can see clearly here, just attached. That one there. Did that on an app on my phone in 10 seconds. Mr. Lycett, I've cancelled the fine. A victory for the common man, I would say. Bless you. You'll notice taxi rank is still written on the window there. It was there for months. Didn't take off for months. So I did this show, a version of this show, right next to that parking space sorry, taxi rank, it's a minor difference. Next to the taxi rank. And so after the show, I parked the car there again. I got the whole audience out. We took a photograph. Here is that photograph. There we all are, having a lovely time. And I sent that to Colin. I just said, sorry, Colin, I've done it again. I did have to do some confrontation recently. You do a lot of driving with this job, and I stopped recently at a service station quite late at night, just getting some food. I wasn't getting any fuel, and this gentleman got off a motorbike behind me, who'd obviously worked on one muscle group more than the others in the gym. So he's quite sort of top-heavy, then sort of withered down below. He looked like a cornetto with a head. Like a spinning top shaped into a twat. Very aggressive, really pushy. I went to the service station, he pushed in behind me. I went over to have a look at the sandwiches, and he shouted to the woman behind the counter, who was sat there with a little e-cigarette, which was giving out a sarcastic amount of smoke, really, just sort of billowing around her. She looked like she was on bloody stars in their eyes, just like there. And he shouted, why isn't the pump on? And she went, it's after 10, you have to pay first, that's the rule. And he went, oh, what, you don't think I can pay for it? And she went, no, that's not what I'm saying, it's after 10, you have to pay first, that's the rule for everybody. I think it's at the point when he picked up a fire extinguisher and started swinging it around. I became really fascinated in the sandwiches at that point. I was like, oh my God, chicken and bacon? Oh, I'm going to read the ingredients on this one. Just staring out blind fear. He's like, nobody thinks I can't pay for this. You, mate, pointing at me, you think I can pay for it? I'm not sure how I did this, because I was nervous and frightened, but I think I just went, shitting myself. Put the fire extinguisher down. He said, if you don't put that pump on when I go out there, I'm going to create big problems for you. She said, I'm not going to put the pump on. He did my favourite thing anyone's done in anger. He just threw a Twix on the ground. Seems like a reasonable response, doesn't it? The old Twix throwing trick. He went over fanning out with his motorbike. I went over with a prawn mayonnaise, if you're interested. And she started scanning it really slowly. And I said, are you going to put that pump on? And she went, no. Delighted, relishing in it. I scuttled back to the car, locked the doors. He tried to get back into the service station, but cleverly she'd locked the doors to there. So he tried to kick them in, but it didn't work. He's withered down below. So picked up a pack of fire logs, started swinging them at the 24-hour window. She knows it's bulletproof glass, so she was just laughing. Smoke pissing everywhere. I started the car, tried to drive round, but I'm a polite driver. I'm not going to beat my horn or anything. He was in the way. So I just thought, I need the prawn sandwich, to be honest. One thing I forget to do when I'm in the Ford Fiesta is, and I slipped that in, didn't I? Someone's got some bloody dollar, haven't they? Ford Fiesta. The lights are always sort of on, and there's a little switch, and if you go a little bit, it goes on to sort of mini beam, and if you go a bit further, it goes on to full beam. And because I was nervous and frightened, I clicked onto full beam, but very quickly clicked back, but essentially flashed him. He turned and looked at me through the windscreen with these fire logs, just staring into my soul for what felt like an eternity. I farted out of nervousness again. And then he just went, oh, sorry, mate, and walked out of the way. I stalled the car and drove home to Birmingham. It's a good night. It's a good night. Birmingham was described recently on Fox News, the reputable news source that is Fox News, as 100% Muslim. Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam is what you say back. Don't worry, we'll work it out. It's interesting that, because I was in the Middle East when that news came out. I was doing shows. I was in Abu Dhabi, Doha, and Dubai. Friends of mine told me not to go to the Middle East because they said that they don't like, and I quote, my lot, is what they said. Not sure what they mean by my lot, presumably fly fishers. They jail homosexuals in those countries. Not sure of the logic of that one, really. Oh, you like men? We'll put you in a box with some. Not a punishment. Come on, try harder, lads. I thought that they stoned gays to death out there, but it's just that gays can't catch. Right. Structurally, a very good joke, that, but it's on the edge. I agree. Now, 100% Muslim. They said 100% Muslim. There's a sort of truth in it. There's a lot of Muslims in Birmingham, a lot of all cultures there. We're known for being multicultural, quite good at it, really. Our next-door neighbour's a Muslim. Saj, he's a lovely guy. Loves a fucking power tool on a Sunday, but he's a lovely guy. Shut up, Saj! One of the most famous Muslims in Birmingham is Malala Yousafzai. I don't know if people are familiar with her. If you don't, she's brilliant. She's an 18-year-old schoolgirl who was shot at by the Taliban for wanting to be educated. She now goes to Edgbaston High School for Girls. It's a private school. I don't think she pays the fees. I personally would hate to go to school with Malala Yousafzai. Can you imagine show and tell day with Malala, where they're like, OK, class, what have you brought in? Sally, let's start with you. And Sally goes, I've brought in this papier-mâché cat. OK, anyone else bring anything? Malala, did you bring anything in? This Nobel Peace Prize. Sally, you're a piece of shit. I'd hate to be a teacher as well. You want me to tell Malala off for anything? What are you doing on your phone, Malala? Texting Barack Obama, actually, so... Oh, sorry. Sally, you're a piece of shit. I think a big problem we have in Birmingham, it's happening everywhere, actually, at the minute. We have a lot of artisan coffee shops full of cunts. I've started putting the letter Y into swear words. I don't know why, it just makes me happy. Let's get fucked up, it just makes me happy. I don't know why. You know the sort of places I'm on about. Shoreditch, full of them. Sort of places, they've got, like, distressed wood, that kind of thing. And they'll serve flat whites, that's the drink. They'll often say things like, we support local artists. And you know that, because the art on the wall is shit. There's dozens in Birmingham now, dozens. They're all shit. There's one I quite like. It's called York's Cafe Bakery. And they do an avocado and feta smash! Which is a very aggressive word, I feel. What is essentially pressing with a fork. Avocado and feta smash! And for £1, I think it is, £1.50 extra, you can get a poached egg on top. Lovely way to start the day. I went in recently, I said to the girl, I said, I'd like the avocado and feta smash, please, with the poached egg. And she went, oh, we don't do the egg anymore. And I said, why is that? And she went, the kitchen was struggling to cope. When I hear the phrase, struggling to cope, I think of, I don't know, a single mother trying to juggle a career, childcare, heartbreak. I don't think of someone cooking a fucking egg. So I'm boycotting there now. But I do occasionally send them an email. Just with the subject line, struggling to cope. And a picture of me cooking an egg. It took me ages to get that picture right. I did like 40 on my phone. Ridiculous.